Well, can't say I didn't see this one coming. Which is such a shame, too, because after I just gave the Pokemon anime such praise about that Dragonite episode, here I am again with another negative constructive criticism video on the Pokemon Company, pulling off some stupid shit with Pokemon Home. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party, but if you don't know already, Pokemon Home's details on what it's about and how it functions and all this other stuff has been revealed, and it's going to be released in February, and there's a lot of people questioning what the hell is going on with this. Now, it's safe to say that a lot of Pokemon fans, including myself, are both baffled and peeved about this. So, instead of just me ranting on, let me actually physically show you what I'm talking about. Well, okay, this is the Pokemon Home website, the official website, and as you can already tell by this screen here, you can clearly see what people are a little peeved about. It has something to do with this here. If you guys thought Pokemon Bank was overpriced, Jesus, this is over 3 times the amount of money if you go for the cheapest, I put that term loosely, the cheapest option. And really, what you guys may think to yourself is, well, maybe there's a reason that's why that's so highly priced. Maybe there's more features and maybe there's more things to do. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've looked into it and there isn't that much more you can do besides maybe do stuff on the Pokemon Home app, like via trading on your phone, which I guess is convenient, but I wouldn't say things like that and an IV checker, which comes with every Pokemon game nowadays, is worth this amount of money. Now, one of the things that really pisses me off about this more is the fact that these guys think that they're really generous with the whole thing by adding a basic plan. And what the basic plan does is just a, oh, if you don't really feel like paying for the premium subscription, we'll give you a little bit of help to at least have try out the software and whatnot. But I just scrolled down, and if you look at the features between the basic and then the $16 a year premium, it is an absolute joke. One of the biggest things to notice right off the bat is the number of Pokemon you're able to store between the basic and premium plans. This number here, 30, that's pitifully low. It's laughable. 30 Pokemon. I'm sorry, but I know most of you probably have more Pokemon in like a top 50 list that you like. That is absolutely abysmal. What in the heck is 30 Pokemon gonna do? So obviously, they're enticing you to get the premium plan by comparing these two numbers together because, well, duh, 6,000 is way more than 30. Another thing, too, is that a lot of people kept saying to me that transferring the Pokemon into Sword and Shield would be free, considering that you could transfer from Bank. However, if you have the basic subscription, you cannot transfer them from Pokemon Bank. You are only able to do so if you spend the $2.99 a month to $16 a year fee. And that's absolutely crazy how they are setting this up. I don't even know what's more insulting, the fact that the only option that matters is so ludicrously overpriced, or the fact that they're using this as just a way just to entice you to buy the clearly better option. There's several other things too, like being able to judge your Pokemon with an IV checker, which I've mentioned before, and wow, of course they're going to lock something like that up behind the premium subscription, because of course if you're competitive and you just get a Pokemon from a trade, you're shit out of luck to know what that Pokemon has for IVs and stuff until you get the premium subscription. In my eyes, this isn't two different subscription models. This is literally just, hey, you better get the premium subscription or tough shit, you're pretty much getting nothing. But they don't want to actually give you nothing, so they put this abysmally low basic plan there instead. Now, do I think that this service should be free? Absolutely not. I agree that with Pokemon Bank's $5 a year subscription was decently priced. And in all honesty, that's what this should have been priced to. I don't know what other features this has that makes it this much money, except for the fact that I think they're just doing this because they know suckers will buy it anyway. Yes, I understand what I just said just sounded incredibly rude, and I apologize for that. I'm not a hypocrite, and I'm not a hater of Pokemon series by any means. Look at all the shit I have back there. I'm a fan, for real. I love the Pokemon games, and I love the series. But when I see corporate take advantage of the community like this, it absolutely enrages me. You guys deserve way better than this shit. And it just aggravates me that they're taking advantage of you without most of you even knowing it. I hope with some of the videos that I've created and some of the other news reporters out there have made on YouTube that some people actually see what the Pokemon company and the corporate area is doing, because it just baffles me. People keep telling me that the DLC is a better deal because it's not a second game. In reality, it's not. In fact, if you really think about it, it's worse. The two games, Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Sun Moon, if you bought one copy of each version, like Sun and Ultra Sun, for example, is $80. Remember, they're charging $60 for Pokemon Sword and Shield because it's a Switch game, even though it sure as hell doesn't feel like one. And the DLC is another $30. So if you add those together, that's $90. I can't be the only one that sees this. I can't be the only one that saw Sword and Shield as a half-complete game, and the DLC more like the second half that should have already been included in the game since launch. That's what this feels like. I don't feel like we're being charged 2 games. I don't feel like we're being charged additional content to a game that already had full of it. No, absolutely not. I feel like we're being charged double for a game that should have been $50 from the get-go, in all honesty. Pokemon Sword and Shield by itself is not a terrible game. It's not really even a bad game. It's entertaining, it's decent. I mean, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Until this shit keeps happening, where they're scamming people over with ludicrously priced DLC and now this subscription service. It just needs to stop. But unfortunately, it won't. And I have a theory as to why this whole crap has started to begin with. And I blame the damn mobile apps for this one. Both Pokemon Go and Pokemon Masters. If there's one thing that those two games have in common that kind of leaked its way over to Sword and Shield, it's that you don't need to finish a Pokemon game to make millions off of it. Pokemon Go, when it first came out, was a beta. It still kind of is if you think about it. But it had way less content when it first released. And look how much frickin' money that made. Pokemon Masters, my very first constructive criticism video, was that I was pissed off that people spent $26 million in a week for a game that was like a quarter of the way done. And now, look at Sword and Shield. Same feeling. This game feels half finished. And yet, they've sold 16 million copies. If there's anything I've learned, is that these guys don't have to put an ounce of effort to make any sort of money anymore with this franchise. And that's really, really sad. I honestly, I don't know how to feel about this, because I want to play more of the games, but I feel like my expectations and my hope is kind of like blinding me from the reality that is these games, and it just sucks. This is what should have happened from the beginning. Sword and Shield DLC should have been free, because that literally is the second half of this game, no doubt about it. And Pokemon Home, which should have been more reasonably priced, like Pokemon Bank, but instead, they're purposely locking off content, like transferring from Bank to Home, in order to force people to buy this ludicrously priced subscription service. Unfortunately, the sad reality is, it's just going to cost a lot more money nowadays just to become a Pokemon fan and enjoy the games. And that really sucks. I deserve better than that. You guys especially deserve better than that. Especially for all the fans here that have been loyal to this series for over 2 decades. This is the thanks we get. Pretty much getting scanned left and right, and pretty much we're being treated like we're idiots. That's a no. I don't approve of that at all. And the only thing I can really say is, so help us Arceus from this point forward.